Many consider Switzerland the birthplace of adventure travel, the wellspring for ecotourism, the spur for organized tours into the wilds. But what is it about this vault of nature that makes it so sublime? In fact, what exactly does sublime mean? And what are its sensibilities and applications here and now? I'm off to unearth what this word meant to those early travelers and what Switzerland has to offer visitors today. I'm also in search of the origins of adventure tourism and how the experiences of past artists and writers have transformed our notion of travel. The sublime is a feeling, a very powerful feeling, and certainly the landscapes of Switzerland evoke powerful feelings. But if there's one place that stirs feelings for the Swiss, it's a meadow across this lake. Martina, what does that meadow mean to you and the Swiss?
It's the foundation place of Switzerland, the Rütli Meadow.
So it's the heart of Switzerland.
Yes, it is.
Martina just suggested that two of us will go back with the next boat from Islington, and then we would have enough time to take the cars to Brunnen, where you will be getting off with the camera gear. We would be there to and then get from there to the weather smellers.
Okay.
So I think that's probably best. I'm sorry, I just didn't know. I had no idea which place is where, because I just wanted to park the car and get on the boat before it leaves.
Okay.
Do you think you want to come with me back to...
Sure, absolutely.
Fantastic. Maybe we have some time to have something to eat and we can get you some sandwiches or something.
Es hat gratis vis-à-vis von der Schiffsstation ins Restaurant, in Brunnen. Da könnt ihr dort sitzen und dann sehen wir euch.
Oh, okay. Und ihr seid dann dort um 10 vor 4 Uhr?
Um 10 vor 4, ja.
Okay.
How's your Swiss coming along?
My Swiss.
Your Swiss German?
What,
do you know any words?
No, nothing, nada.
Ja,
Come on.
say Kochikästli.
Will you teach them a word?
That's the difficult sound. Kochikästli. Yeah.
Wow.
Give it another
And I've got German ancestry too. You'd think I'd be able to pronounce it.
So what does that mean, Kochikästli?
Kitchen cupboard.
Yes, and we want her to be able to point up here, which is where William Tell, the incident took place. So let's position her so she can point.
Okay, if the boat goes that direction, then you guys should just exchange places and you can be over there.
This place, Lake Lucerne, is the birth of Switzerland,
Yes, it is, according to the legend.
according to the legend.
Yes.
And where, according to the legend, did William Tell shoot the apple off the head?
He shot it in Altdorf, but Switzerland then was founded on the Rütli Meadow, which is over here.
Aha. Is that another legend?
Yes, it is. They came together during night, and 10 men of each canton, they stood together, they held up their hands like this, and they swore an oath. They wrote a letter about it, and that's our precious 1291 Swiss founding letter.
Yeah, we need everything else.
We see you in Brunnen.
Where are you going?
We go to have a drink now.
Yeah? What's the plan?
In theory, we're driving cars, but really we're going to leave you guys here on the meadow and go have some beers.
Yeah?
Okay. Well, let's try something a little different here.
Okay, good, but the problem is the contrast right now
Is so bad?
is really bad.
So,
Look, if we have to make the next boat,
right.
there's supposed to be a stand-up and several other shots here
Okay.
that are more important than doing the soundbite here.
Okay.
Do we have to go on the next boat? Is that the plan?
Yes,
Okay.
this is the plan.
So we have 5 minutes for that.
So yeah, so we you better shoot some shots. Let's shoot. Richard, why don't you and Martina go down there, come hiking up the path toward us. The two of you can be chatting. We won't hear what you're saying, but that will be a good way to start establishing this.
Okay.
And let's see that light.
Du willst doch Feindeck filmen, Mann. Jason, 30 Mal Gegner. Hello.
It's a beautiful time of year.
He just told me that, you know, for example, if the mountain climbers would actually be able to read the signs like they used to when they would go up to climb, they would actually know what's going to happen when a thunderstorm is coming. He said each creek or each little creek water 2 hours before a heavy thunderstorm, it has a different kind of a sound. And if a climber would know that, we would have to this day at least half less climbing fatalities.
Richard, I think how we can do this and make it work, we can hear our guests start to speak in Schweizerdeutsch, and then you can tell the story as a voiceover in the script. And, you know, as long as you understand this, Patty will need some help in writing it. But then we can see it's similar to what you did with the man on the beach in New Zealand, where he was setting up Kaitiaki Kanga. I think Evelyn could explain to him that you're going to ask a question and what the question is, and then he could start responding to that question. So you'll ask the question in English and he can start responding in German.
Peter Suter has lived in this valley for more than 80 years. He looks for the patterns of scurrying ants, the diagrams of clouds, perfume of plants, and other subtle signs oblivious to the rest of us.
Sorry, I have to say something. He has a hard time hearing. Okay. He didn't bring his hearing aid, so I have to speak louder.
You can speak. You can yell because we're not going to use it.
Okay,
so you can,
very good.
You could be.
Sorry,
but he has to look at me though. That's the trick.
Okay.
So, do you think the glaciers will come back?
Haben Sie das Gefühl, dass Gletscher wieder zurückkommen?
Ja, ich rechne, die kommen wieder zurück, aber vielleicht erlebe ich es mehr nicht mehr. Das geht langsam, es geht nicht so schnell, aber es kommt schon wieder.
He said that yes, he thinks so that the glaciers will come back, but we definitely will not be here on this earth
to appreciate it.
Yeah, to see it.
So we'll want to find that Glacier Museum, millions of years of. So a few shots of the glacier stuff, and then the model.
I mean, there is a good soundbite, which can go in the voiceover script, that Switzerland, more than almost any other country in the world, is suffering from global climate change, and because of that, Switzerland, and Switzerland's main currency, of course, is its magnificence, its nature. So it has a motivation more than anybody else to be an ecologically responsible destination. So
let's slap the microphone on you and just do this as an impromptu thing. Okay. What you just said to me, you know, we may use it as an impromptu thing, or we can write it into the script either way.
We're in the Glacier Garden in the middle of Lucerne, in the heart of Switzerland. And around us we see nature's own aesthetic sensibility. Glaciers 20,000 years ago carved these potholes, these beautiful potholes. And in fact, all of Lucerne was covered by glaciers during that time. But the glaciers retreated, and then 200 years ago or so, they laced the surrounding mountains in such beautiful ways that they inspired the great poets and artists who traveled here. They became a tourist attraction. But of late, the glaciers in Switzerland have retreated, with evidence that's more profound than almost any other country on the planet. And Switzerland, whose currency is nature, great nature, is doing more than almost any other country to make sure that it is environmentally responsible and helps to maintain nature and its attractions.
You tell me when I'm on. No, don't.
So what's our playlist for the
I don't
afternoon?
know. I don't like.
Is he torturing you?
Oh, I don't like cameras. I don't like taking pictures. It's a
Just tell me what our program is for the afternoon.
the program. We will. I would like to show you the famous Chapel Bridge. A lot of nice houses. A lot of squares. The old town. All the nice places in Lucerne.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
In the sunshine.
In the sunshine.
Did you arrange this weather for us? Made a
Yes, I did.
compound?
I always do. For nice guests, we always organize the weather.
Sarah, can you explain to me what's going on there?
Well, we're shooting this famous bridge, which has just come into the sunlight out of the clouds. So we're getting a little bit of sun to make it look pretty and blind me.
Okay, what's the Death Dance Bridge?
They are old paintings from 1625. We do have old paintings, and they show a death dance because people, could not read and write, and that's why they made paintings. And
Because the plague was
plague was here.
They didn't want you.
Yeah, and
They wanted to inform you about the plague.
That was always in their mind. So that can strike anybody at any time. That's the meaning of the paintings.
It's got depictions of skeletons touching all sorts of different people, dancing with them, playing fiddles with them, and indicating that they're about to die. It doesn't matter their station in life or how old or young they are. There's a skeleton touching a baby, a skeleton touching a lord, a skeleton touching a beautiful, wealthy woman. But the skeleton, which stands for the plague, which devastated much of the city during its height, is a sign of equality. Anybody can be touched. Anyone can die. Okay. Oh, where am I going to? Same sort of thing? Okay. All right. Hello. For centuries, Europeans saw the wilderness as a dangerous place to be approached warily until tamed by human settlement. But the Age of Enlightenment brought a new appreciation of nature. And when poets, naturalists, and painters of the 19th century began to see the Alps in a different light, fear was replaced by curiosity and awe, a new agreeable kind of horror. And tourism to Switzerland was born. Wow, can I try one of these?
Yes.
Are you the boss here?
I am the boss. Yeah.
You're the big cheese.
I make cheese maker.
Oh, great. What kind of cheese?
It's a Schloss cheese.
Good.
You can take another more.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
Schade, dass man es nicht schmeckt.
Ja. Danke schön.
Das ist für die 2 Personen.
Ich nehme die, ich habe 2 Kannen, die gebraucht habe ich auf dieser Reservation.
Danke Ihnen vielmals.
Danke,
Gut aus.
So gerne ein Möckchen? Ja.
Was kann so sein?
Nein, im Wald. Meine haben auch noch von alles. Wow! Ja. Du, ich mache nochmal eins.
You need to adjust to life here, but you probably will start looking for a job now.
In the 18th century, throughout the 18th century, English gentlemen were in the habit of completing their education by going on a tour over the Alps and to Italy. Well, actually, the goal of the Grand Tour was usually Italy and the cities, the classical ruins and the artworks, but there were the Alps in the way. So the idea developed that this experience of the dangers of crossing the Alps and the majesty, the awe of this alpine landscape was a distinctive aesthetic experience in its own right.
The train that scales Mount Pilatus is the steepest cogwheel rail track in the world, making the sacred geometry of turmoil accessible to all. It was rail that revolutionized European travel. The Grand Tour, a travel itinerary that flourished from about the mid-1600s to the mid-1800s, usually involved wealthy young Brits traveling a circuit through Europe to study classical culture and art. After soaking in Paris and Geneva, they made the arduous journey over the Alps to Italy. At first, they closed the curtains when passing through the intimidating landscapes. But eventually, they pulled back the view and were thrilled by what they saw. Wow.
What's that, Rich? What were you just...
I'm saying this is the definition of sublime. Look at that. Nothing could say it better. If there were a definition in dictionary, it would be this photo. This would be the visual. Yeah, Pictionary. This is it.
All right, we're rolling, you guys.
Okay, so Colette, I hear there are dragons in the caves of Mount Pilatus.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. Didn't you see them?
I hear them. I haven't seen them yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's the story?
Well, there's a couple of stories about them, and one of the very good ones is the one with the cooper who went up on the Forbidden Mountain, which Mount Pilatus also has been called, and he went up to look for wood to make barrels, and he lost time, and he came up and up and up, and then he fell in a cave, and he was unconscious. And then when he woke up, he looked around and he saw 2 big dragons. So he became very scared and he was thinking, oh gee, what do I do? But these dragons were very friendly guys and talked to him, say, you know what, it's too dangerous for you to go back down, and you stay with us this winter, and in spring we bring you back to the city. So they did so, had a good winter all together. And so in the spring, one of the dragons said, okay, jump on my tail and we bring you back to the city. Well, then they did so, they had a good time, and in the city there was a big party because everybody thought he has been lost and he was dead and everything, and well, he was there. So he had to tell the story, and the people, they loved this story. So they say you have to let this story of these dragons embroider in a silken vestment, and this thing you still find in the St. Leogard Church, which is also known as the Hofkirche in Lucerne. So there is a bit of truth in there, and they say the dragons are protective animals who watch the people in Lucerne, very friendly creatures.
Ah. So, are there any dragons in the
well, there are some, but we would have to go on the road, on the Dragon Road, and let's go and see them.
Okay. I like the dragon shirt.
Hey, Sarah, where are we?
We're on the top of Mount Pilatus, and we're about to eat some delicious lunch. I have yet to decide what I'm going to eat, though.
Hey, Rich, what'd you order for lunch?
Der Schmidtchenmagen mit Muschkunbank.
And what is that? And what is that, Colette?
I didn't understand the word. It was a new dialect now from Switzerland. So, well, then we all set.
Right.
Some mountain food.
Mountain food, that's for sure. That was nice. Nice seeing you. Welcome.
Enjoy the view.
Thank God we got here when we did.
I know, what a view.
Because after those clouds rolled in, we would have been. I don't want to use bad language.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's open.
Go into nowhere.
Let's put this around my head.
Wait, let me go away.
Probably get some misty action. I can see it coming in already.
Okay. It does. The gondolas to nowhere. This is like Heaven Can Wait or something. It's like, okay. Whoa.
Take the sunglasses.
Man, this is eerie. Here we go. I think we've died and gone to heaven. Either that or we're going down.
We're going down.
Okay, we're on our way down now. We're on the gondola. We've been to the summit of Pilatus, and we're on the gondola on the way down. We're headed to the Rollerbahn. Is that the Rodelbahn, which is a toboggan.
And what's up with this weather?
Hey, we had great weather on the top. We saw everything we needed to see.
Wow.
20 seconds, the other gondola come up. Okay. About the only thing you can see.
Did you hear that, Ian?
Excitement, 20 seconds.
There it is. Huh. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Great.
Patrick, nice to meet you.
Good, I'm Richard. I want to take a ride here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You even have fun.
Oh, good. That's what I hear. Okay. Do I get on here? Uh-huh. To the end of the rail? Okay. All right. I'd move my feet, but we're on. Yeehaw!
I had to brake on the way.
I went as fast as they would go. This one's a slow one.
I know.
The sun is never in the right
I know, it
place.
never is.
It's just learn to adapt.
Day after day.
Do you want to keep the crib sheet here?
You need to turn your mic on too, Richard.
It'll be a little bright for you.
Yeah. Well, it's not the first time.
I'm sure.
So partly because of the trains, I think Switzerland has been considered one of the most environmentally conscientious countries in the world.
Yes, I can understand that, because our Swiss travel system is very dense, very reliable and very clean, because it's all electrified. And this is certainly very good for the environment. We even heat our biggest hotels, the Drutz Palace, with heat actually with energy out from the lake, which is quite new on this altitude. It's part of clean energy program.
I see.
Could you ask him how that works?
Yeah, how does that work? Because it's not a thermal lake.
No.
How do you heat? With a cold lake, how do you heat a hotel?
Yeah, it's even a frozen lake. You have about 60 centimeter, half a meter of ice at the moment, and on this you have pressed snow, the horse racing track. And then you have about 44 meters of water at about 4 centigrades cold. And you take it out at this temperature, you cool it down to 1 centigrade, and with the difference you can heat up the whole palace and even the public school. That's fantastic, because it keeps the water quite cool. We need that for all the events to take place on the lake, and also we got happy fish, happy trouts, because they like cold water.
So that allows you to export clean energy?
Well, as a matter of fact, if you count all the artificial lakes and power stations in the surrounding of Semmelitz, we can certainly export. For instance, One Valley is more or less responsible for most of the electrical energy for the city of Zurich. So we certainly produce much more energy here, clean energy, than we can use for ourselves.
And do you brand your clean energy? Is it St. Moritz Energy?
Yes, as a matter of fact, a big power company is a licensee of ours, and they are selling their ecological power in Europe under the name of Pure Power St. Moritz.
Oh, wow.
It's a very specific feeling when you shave with Pure Power St. Moritz electricity instead of any anonymous power.
It feels different.
Oh yes, it's much more sexy.
Okay. I got to try that. So.
Ich hoffe nur nicht, dass jemand an den Plastiksack und das Uwe oder was mitgenommen hat, bis wir dort sind. Aha. Darum habe ich gesagt, wenn es mal einfach mal kannst du trotzdem mitnehmen.
Ja, ich nehme es mit, auf jeden Fall. Nein, das behalte ich bis zum Schluss.
So I was watching your footage of the Pilates, and I could zoom in. Like, oh, really? It's quite amazing. Yeah. Are there many chamois?
Chamois, yes. A lot of chamois, and marmots, and deers. Now you can see just a little bit the nature, the picture, the painting from Segantini, the middle one, the big one. He painted the 3 valleys. One, the Engadin, then the next valley, and the left, the Rosec. And that's the famous mountain. Left there. What is it called? Diabolezza? That's the Palu. Palu. And up there, the black point, up there is the highest, is 4,049 meters. Is the only 4,000 from the East Alps.
Oh.
It's Bernina.
So how did you want to do? You want to do your stand up down here or up?
We're going to do one here, then one on the chair going up.
So if we want all of this in the background.
Actually, we don't want the ski lift, no. We just want the snow.
So you always dress like this for skiing then?
You never know when you're going to meet somebody who wants a private function, a black tie.
Well, we hear him fine. There's just when you're this high up, there's so much wind that we just want it to sound a little bit more clear.
Okay. With my desire for the sublime shaken and stirred, of course, I'm ready to move on. Wow. The scenery here is enough to awe an atheist to belief. That'll be good.
How are you?
That'll be good.
Everything?
And the camera's still running. So skiing here is a modern example of an agreeable kind of form. You can get as close to the edge as you dare.
And there are a lot of little doors.
Yep.
One door is for the kitchen. It's called the Chadafeu. And there is the fire. They cook there. And then is the little living room. It's always little rooms to keep the heat, the warm inside. Upstairs of this living room is the room to sleeping, the sleeping room. And in the evening they put the door open like this. Oh, it's
so the heat goes
up the oven.
So the heat goes
up. The heat goes up the oven.
Yep.
And so they went up to sleep there, to heat a little bit the bedroom. And downstairs in the house is are the animals, the cows, because also there they give warm up. It's everything in one house.
Okay.
And behind is the talvo, it's called, is for the hay. Hey. Yes. Everything in the house to conserve the warmth, to heat.
Have you been to the United States?
I have been, but it's a long time ago.
Okay, Richard, can I have you zip up your jacket?
That's all?
No. You're very good.
Yeah, okay.
Chinese step back just for me. Okay, perfect. All right, we're good.
So there are a lot of trains in Switzerland, but what is different about the Glacier Express?
Well, it's hard to explain in a few words. So the specialty of the train is just crossing the Alps from eastern to western. So it's a very special. So you have St. Moritz with a jet set climber. You have the very thrilling section on the Albula line, which will be UNESCO heritage, we hope so. And then crossing the Little Grand Canyon of Switzerland through the Rhine Gorge and leading up to the highest point on the Oberalp Pass on more than 2,000 meters, and finally the Matterhorn and Zermatt. Wow. Like a bouquet.
So when people take this train trip, how do they feel?
Well, it depends. We have many tourists on our trains, but Switzerland, between Bern and Zurich, you have also many business people. So it's a completely different kind of travelers on our trains.
But this is the easiest way to get into the Alps, right?
Well, maybe not the easiest, but the most spectacular way to travel through the Alps.
When people initially came to the Alps, they were afraid of them, very much afraid, and you had to even draw the curtains because you weren't supposed to be subject to the evil spirits that were in the mountains and the dragons that were part of the glaciers. And it took a new way of looking at those mountains to be able to appreciate the beauty and the reverence that they inspire. That's something that came more recently, and it had to do with this sublime movement and that sort of philosophical change of perspective.
So what do you call this area we're in right now?
The whole is called Jungfrau region.
Jungfrau region.
Yeah.
And Jungfrau is where alpine tourism started.
That's true. I mean, these explorers came to explore the mountains and the glaciers. In the villages, they needed beds to sleep. That's how the first hotels basically emerged. And they needed food, they needed material, and more of these explorers came. And these explorers took friends with them and other people, and that's basically how tourism started.
Yeah. So Richard,
take another 20 minutes until the next one.
So Richard, I'm going to have you come over. You can't stand right about it.
In about 10 minutes, the next one's going.
Okay. Yeah, right about here. Okay.
Is there any kind of special concern or relationship that you think Swiss people have, given how important the natural environment is to you?
That's good. That's good. Okay. So this is a little hard to I think to express. So I think the sublime is a term that the British use, and probably Swiss don't use it. But what it really means is that the Alps, because they're big and they're awesome and they're also dangerous, it makes you feel more alive. So if they were soft and round and pretty or delicate, it doesn't give you that feeling of that there's something ominous and a little bit risky about it. So and it made the poets who came here feel that there was maybe a higher power because it's so powerful.
That's what the locals felt. That's why they didn't want to go.
Okay.
And then it was Thomas Cook, who, as far as we know, did the first package tour, taking a whole group from England to Chamonix, then to Wengen, to Grindelwald, to Giesbach, to Lucerne, and actually back to England.
And they came to see the glaciers?
They came to see the glaciers, exactly. Walked on the glaciers. Again, the ladies were carried. They didn't walk themselves, and Thomas Cook himself was the guide, and he wrote the guidebooks after that, and then became kind of the first travel agent or tour operator or whatever you might call it.
He's a hero of mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there are always challenges to film in the environments that we venture through, because this is a combination of adventure and an understanding.
À destination de Muren et Interlaken sont priés de changer de train.
And adventure implies activity. And we had a lot of different activities in this one, from skiing and tobogganing to hiking and climbing. And all of those require some athleticism with a camera, and some creativity and some enterprise to figure out how to rig or move a camera to make these scenes work. You know, it's a challenge for the whole crew. And everybody rose to the occasion and actually came up with, I think, better footage than any of us ever expected.
Good morning.
Good morning. Where was the big accident that we read about?
On the other side, Grindelwald side. There was a ski lift, it was a chairlift. It was a chairlift, and the row jumped out of the off the wheels.
Yeah. And it's not running anymore for the season.
It's closed down.
Wow, it goes up fast. Yeah, this is a pretty steep one.
Yeah, you're much faster with that than with the other one.
Yeah.
With the other one, you have to change in gimbal rod. So the heat, it's just that's me. It's being used to heat it. It's
a bit of a roller coaster. Yeah, it's a bit of a ride. Yeah.
So where does this go over there? This one goes to Almenhubel. It's a funicular, and Almenhubel
Skiers walking around. Closer shots. That'd be great.
We could do the Garden of Eden stand up.
We could do that. We can find out. Look out. See here.
Looking from that restaurant right there.
That what?
Look at that restaurant there. That balcony.
The Yelton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is if we kind of start here and I'll just pan over to him on this balcony.
You know, it would be cool if he started out by looking out.
So that when the camera gets to him, he just does a little bit of a turn.
And this is going to be a slight, just to kind of come over to where he is.
You need to get your position on him.
So, are you going to walk or are you just going to take one position?
I think one position, not walking, just a turn. What you're going to have to do though is, you're looking out this way, you're going to have to turn quite a bit this way so that she can get some light.
Yeah, if we just pan over,
Gloves?
it would be nice. You can use that as a nice transition.
I don't think you need gloves.
Okay.
It's
Need
not.
gloves?
No.
The sun's out like this. So.
I mean, you're not wearing them right now, so.
Okay, I'm rolling.
So here at the Jungfrau region, we're at the Garden of Eden of ecotourism and adventure travel. It's here the Swiss first tasted the apple dropped by the British alpinists and discovered all the good and the bad that comes from sporting about the mountains.
Can you hook your hand and just kind of, just this side? Yeah, that's better.
Can you lick your hand?
Can I spit on your hair for you?
Here your reservation. Just in front, huh?
Okay, thank you very much.
Nächster Halt, Wengen-Alb. Next stop, Wengen-Alb. Posch-Alb. Kleine Scheidegg, Terminal Station. Passengers for Jungfrau to Toppenhill and Grindelwald, please change here.
Ja, dann hast du mit draufgekommen. Ja, aber echt genug.
Okay, then I start, huh?
Yeah.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. It's a where am I walking to?
Two steps.
Just taking a few of that.
1, 2. Yeah.
Okay, I'm rolling.
Yeah. In the late 19th century, London was the largest city in the world. Claustrophobic, grimy, and polluted. And so when the Romantic poets came here, they described what they saw as the aesthetics of the infinite, where mountains led the mind beyond what the eye can see.
The wind?
Oh, okay. I need to. Don't lean too far. So we're standing on top of the longest glacier in Europe. So what has changed with this glacier over the last few years?
It has changed in volume. That's the surface has gone down. If you would have spectacles, you could see there is a alpinist's hut. It's called Concordia Hütte, and in the early days, this hut was equally on the level of the glacier, and now you have to climb up stairs almost 100 meters. So glacier went down.
What about the length of the glacier?
The length has also decreased. On the average, it's I don't know the numbers in detail,
right,
but it's of several hundred meters.
Can you ask her, down below you were telling us that there was something special about this research station, that it was different from other ones. Could you tell?
Okay. So there are many research stations in the world. What is different about, what is unique about this one?
Well, it's location. It's like when you buy a house. Location is the most important thing. We are here at 3,500 meters above sea level. We are above all the dust, and so for measurements of the environmental sciences, we are sticking the nose into the clean air. So it's the altitude in this high alpine environment. It's the easy access all year round with the railway, the Jungfraubahn railway, and it's also the infrastructure of the research station for the researchers.
Mm-hmm. So this is the place. This is where we discover what's happening with the rest of the world.
That's it. It's actually the highest research station in Europe, accessible by public transport all year round.
Oh, that's great. Okay. And you got a great view. So if I take a leak, which way will it go? Yeah. So the first mountain guide who hacked into this glacier was in 1910. So René, where are we?
Now you stay here on the Jungfrau Joch in the highest ice palace in the world.
So we're inside a glacier?
Yes, in the glacier. It's on 11,300 feet.
Wow, wow. And so how long has this been open? How long could people actually come inside a glacier?
This is now 90 years you can come into here.
90 years?
Yes.
And do you think people will be able to see this for a long time to come?
Not forever, but we think for the next 100 years it's possible for looking. And we work now here with the air condition because we have 700,000 people per year. It's walk in this ice palace.
Amazing. So you have to air condition a glacier?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We have to do this. When we don't do this, the ice is smelling too fast.
So this fills with water?
Yes, and then we have a swimming pool, not the ice palace.
Okay. Is this the world's highest curling course?
Go ahead.
Okay, Richard, you've been here many times before, so it must become sort of ordinary and commonplace after being here so often.
Well, there's nothing ordinary about this landscape. This is the definition of extraordinary. I mean, this is also the definition of sublime, because we're in the middle of the Alps, and if the sublime is this agreeable kind of horror, there's certainly a feeling of exultation and joy, but there's also this element of horror. You can see there's a crack up there in the ice, which is where an avalanche will soon be triggered. And if anything sort of is horrible, it can be an avalanche that's racing down towards you. So you're on the edge of danger. You're on the edge of something that could be quite horrible. You're on the edge of mortality. But it also makes you feel more alive than any other place on the planet. The Alps do that. The Alps make you feel like you're in the sublime. Today in Switzerland, there are all sorts of ways to simulate the sublime.
And once more without the chuckle.
Okay. Today in Switzerland, there are all sorts of ways to simulate the sublime. Take the Williams. Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh.
Switzerland is the author of all sorts of potent drinks that provoke the imagination. In the 1920s, rapturous reports from alpine adventurers drew travelers from around the world anxious to experience the majesty of the mountains and the profound feelings they provoked. The Glacier Express ran the first time in 1931, stitching a line across the Alps from Zermatt to St. Moritz. Seated in elegant salon cars, a safe distance from the scenery, the guests were awed by what they saw. To complete this journey, we head toward the southeastern border of the country and the last leg of the Glacier Express, Zermatt.
Yeah, he was going to get the director right now. Okay. So this should work well. And
So
Ian really.
is he going to do a tracking shot?
What he'll do is he'll be in this seat. You guys will be back there.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we'll keep the two of you in place and get a shot from a distance.
Okay.
So that we have cutaways.
Great.
And a microphone on you here. Pardon?
I think we can just put it right here under his coat.
Yeah, sure.
Can we put this on your belt?
Should I turn off the phone? Is it?
Yeah, but probably that'd be a good thing if you can go without it for a few minutes here.
Should be possible. Quickly.
Can I make one suggestion? I think, Daniel, you look too formal with that on.
I can take off the tie and...
Could you wear somebody's jacket like this? Sure. It just seems like you're too much of an official spokesperson like that.
No problem.
All right.
I've got some lederhosen. I can even just take off the tie and the come with my shirt.
Yeah, well, or put on this jacket or something. Because I think.
I just saw my give it to me.
Yeah.
Ah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the hoop for three here. That's lunch in there because we don't have time to eat lunch today. I have it in here.
Merci. I have another journalist coming in a minute.
Oh, okay.
He wants me formal, you know. That's...
Okay. But I think, you think about American audiences. It just
that's the normal. That's the normal anyway.
You look like a politician when you got that. Yeah.
Well, in a way, I am one.
Are you really?
But a very bad one.
A little bit too fat.
Okay. It's too big, your jacket.
Jawohl.
So I gotta fit in here somehow.
So, let's see what we want to have.
Yeah. We do have first the whole environment. This is the theme, topic.
Yes. Yeah.
We're planning one mountain hut and one tower on one of the mountains. Good. Where do you want to go?
Just up the main street, and maybe back, or sure. Just at
Zermatt is not actually a big city, so you can easily make it from one side to the other, walking through the town, and you don't have any pollution, you don't have the noise, you don't have to be worried to go run into a car, and that's also very good for the kids, for example.
I love that. And I see a lot of kids around here.
That's true, yeah.
It's a very family-friendly place to visit.
It's definitely, it is, yeah.
So for hundreds of years, this village has been eco-friendly, and it continues to be sort of a leader in this space. But what is the village doing for the future to keep that sensibility going?
Well, like all the other tourist industry, we have to adapt a little bit also to the needs of our clients, and this is a continuous process. And then of course Zermatt is developing every year. We are constructing more hotels, and this is certainly a thing that Zermatt has to work on in the future, that we still can keep the authenticity of our village, because this is our strength, one of the strengths. And I would say the second strength of Zermatt is the nature, and is the Matterhorn. And we also have to do things to protect this nature, because for me this is the secret of our success.
Yes, of course. What sorts of things is the area doing?
See, we're constructing a lot. We're constructing houses and slopes, and also snow machines. And if you construct something, it's going to hurt somewhere the nature. And we have a carta. We signed a carta with our environmental protection societies, that every time we construct something, after it's finished, we're going to renaturate it. We're going to plant the trees again, we put the grass back on where it was, the special plants. Zermatt has a lot of seldom plants, so we take care that this thing goes back like it has been before. So we try to have as less damage as possible. And then also, if we're building nowadays houses, we're not going to put in anymore the oil heaters. Now we're using a lot of the natural sources like the solar power or wind power, or also the heat from the ground.
Right. Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Oh. It's taking getting used to for me because I can't see the air. And I can't smell any diesel or anything like that. So
it is, as I said, this is the secret of the success of Zermatt, and it would be a big mistake if we don't see it, if we don't protect it. Right. And also our construction law is very tough. If you want to build here a house, it has to have a certain shape. It doesn't have to be, it cannot be bigger than a certain size. Mm-hmm. And these are all little things that add up to this, you can really say, to this little typical Swiss mountain village.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have the same issue tomorrow morning, and we'll have less light to deal with it with this battery charger down.
Right.
So,
but my thought was we could actually shoot up here tomorrow morning for.
It's the same lighting issue. See, we were out in the daylight.
I just wanted to get the shot of the sun, and then we can speed it up.
Yeah.
Because what we have this morning works. I mean, that's going to be the best as we can get, and with that light, and I think it looked good. And I just think we can do this here now and have a safety, which this looks good too.
I think I would hope that the final shot of the show is a spectacular shot that we have not seen before in the show. So if we film him now in an interview and we use my clothes for it, I would suggest that we not use his interview.
Let's don't shoot the Matterhorn in this interview. I mean, let's do the town, and I mean, we can have, it's like that stuff over there.
Yeah, we point down, because when we shoot you, it's just, we're not even going to see the town, we're just going to see the mountain. And
we can do the interview now here, and it'll look like a totally different shot than the one with you next to the Matterhorn. And it gives us just that extra margin of safety, which I think is good.
Okay.
This is just a standing interview, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just if he stands right here, we got kind of this tree and whatnot, and just basically the village
with some of the background. Okay.
Yeah.
So he could be here, and then Richard could be standing next to you. I mean,
more so this side.
Richard could be here and you there, and
so
he's talking to Richard right there.
Yeah, because we want. Yeah. And we might need a reflector.
Okay, bounce on then from the backside a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
See when you're rolling.
We're rolling.
Okay. So you've traveled all over the world in your career, but you decided to come back here to live. Why here?
Well, that's right. I traveled quite a little bit, but then, after so many years around then, and then I went back to Switzerland. Home is home, that's one thing. But why back to Zermatt? Because Zermatt is an outstanding village. When you see, one of the main things why the people are coming to Zermatt is because we don't have any cars in the village. We don't have any pollution, and we still kept the touch of the village, the old style of the village. And another big reason is because of the beautiful scenery, the mountain area, and especially the Matterhorn.
Okay, and is there anything the village is doing going forward for the future to make sure that it's sustainable and ecologically sound?
Oh yeah, because we're going totally that way. First of all, we got the frame. We make the laws about that. Because you cannot drive with a normal car, even when it's this kind of electric car. If it's type of small little electric cars, you cannot drive around the village either. And as well, we go also for recycling a lot, because everything, we were one of the first to have an already for the recycling. We got whole the purification system and everything it's really going for to save the environment and keep the nice clean air here.
So what kind of feeling do you get when you go up into the mountains here?
Well, it's a great feeling when you go up to the mountain. You get a feeling to be free. I used to climb a lot. I did also a lot of extreme climbing. And when you get older, you do a lot of hiking. But to climb or to be up in the mountain gives you a touch of freedom. When you go higher up there, you overlook everything. And you see fantastic what's going around there. And it's a great type of feeling. It's hard to describe.
How many languages do you have in Switzerland?
Well, in Switzerland, officially we have 4 languages. It's German, French, Italian, and Romansh. But we people from the mountain, well, we say we have another language. It's called, like a mountain language, it's called yodeling. And yodeling, it sounds like this.
Wow, what does that mean?
Well, you see, in the old days when we say there were no telephones, then when one tried to communicate with another person all over into the other valley, and one was yodeling here, like, and then they got the echo, or they got an answer.
Yeah. So before the telephone, this was
exactly. They didn't have the mobile phones or the Natel. No, yodeling. It's a typical song in Switzerland, and it's a special voice. You cannot learn it. Actually, you can improve a little bit the yodeling, but you have to be born with the basic voice.
Really? So you can't take it in school?
No, the basic voice. You see, normally you speak out of your chest.
Right.
And then when you go in a yodeling voice, you go way back in the throat, like here.
Yeah.
That's normal speaking, and then in the throat you're like.
Well, I think it's key to have some sort of purpose in any endeavor in life. I think life itself finds that it lacks resonance and momentum and meaning if you don't have a purpose. And the same with adventures. There are many adventures that are very sort of self-serving, and ultimately they distribute, I think, a feeling of more of emptiness than of richness when you return. Those that seek sort of adrenaline just for adrenaline's sake. But adventure itself has an opportunity because it allows people to enter different cultures, different realms, different environments, and all of that, I think, activates the mind and stimulates the spirit in a way that other travel doesn't. And if you allow yourself the opportunity to make a difference by pursuing a goal or understanding, then it's a very, very rich and far-reaching experience that goes beyond the self into all things.